8 o'clock.
Hey, good evening. This is Brian Johnson, and welcome to my Wednesday night training. And tonight is all about how to create epic and amazing relationships. So if you're all about understanding how to have amazing relationships, how to heal from past relationships, how to have an amazing relationship with yourself, how to create amazing relationships with your family, your business colleagues, your personal relationships, all of that, tonight's going to be your night. And I appreciate you investing your time with me. We really only have, I have about 30 minutes tonight, so as always, we'll get everything in and make sure that you're squared away. Most importantly, if you're new, please let me know that you're new. If this is your first time, just type a yes in the little category or the little comment section. And I've actually got my computer open too, because sometimes comment section don't work. So just let me know who pops on, and I appreciate you. And one of the things that I ask for you to do for me is I'm on a mission to serve a lot of people, and I'm going to require all of your support specifically. So I would appreciate if you please shared, because you never know who your message, my message is going to touch. And I've seen miracles happen on a lot of people that I was not expecting that. So if you would, I'd appreciate if you please share, because you never know who you're going to be able to support and help, and I appreciate you. What's up, Nisha? So the best place you can connect with me to make sure you are in the loop is go to thinkgreatloseweight.com. Hop on our email list so that way we can stay connected with you, and that way we can make sure you get the replays, and we get a lot of other information that I send out, just as special gifts to our friends, families, and clients. You can do that on thinkgreatloseweight.com. Also, make sure you connect with me on my public page. I'm fixing to move all my trainings over to my public page because my personal page is too full, and there are many people that are not able to make it to my trainings. And my ultimate goal is to make sure that I can support each and every one of you consistently, so there is a place for you. And if we move over to my public page, then there's never an issue, and that's definitely an outcome of mine that I'm choosing to move forward with. So hopefully you've had an amazing day. And it's about to get better. So let's dig into the content that I have prepared for you. And I'm always open for questions. So if there's things you would like to ask questions on, or if you have, what's up, Tammy? If there's things that you would like more information on, feel free to post your comments in the section. I'll either get to it when I'm done with going through the stuff I have planned, or if it's the right spot, then I'll answer it during the middle of the conversation. So with that being in mind, here we go. So here's just allow me to share a little bit about me and maybe why you may be able to connect with me a little better. I've gone through a lot of the growth and development. I've been suicidal. I've been 250 pounds 3 times. I've had some pretty amazing experiences happen in life that also could have been very tragic at the same time. So when I say I'm blessed to be here, I'm blessed to be here, and I am grateful, and I don't take that lightly. So every bit of time that I get to invest with you to support you and help you out is really what my mission is, okay? And really what I'm sharing with you tonight is stuff that I've learned through my own coaching experiences, through my own experiences with my personal coaches, and with also with coaches that were coaching me in specific areas of my life. And so for those of you that may not know, I typically have anywhere from 4 to 6 coaches at a time. It depends on what's going on in my life and what I'm doing and what I'm undertaking, as depending upon how many I usually have aboard. There's various types, right? All right, so the first thing you want to understand about this is important. All of our relationships are the way that they are because that's what we have created and agreed to. I'll repeat that. Every relationship that is in yours and my life is what we have created and what we have agreed to on some level. Maybe not consciously, because most of it's done subconsciously. And what I'll unwind for you tonight is really showing you some different things that you can identify that will literally help you to make some shifts in your current levels of understanding about your relationships, okay? So here's the most important part. Relationships are literally how we relate to ourselves the same way we relate to our friends. So if you have friends that are showing up that are rude, that are disrespectful, that's how you relate to yourself. If you have friends that show up that are amazing, that are enthusiastic, what's up, Justin? If you have friends that are enthusiastic and amazing, that's how you relate to yourself. Whatever is showing up in your life in the form of people, experiences, circumstances, situations, and events, the type of feelings that all of those different four areas that I just discussed, people, experiences, circumstances, situations, and events, the feelings that those things create is what's operating inside of you and me internally. Now, the beauty of that is you can look at it like this. You can look at it either as you are a victim, or you can look at it as you are the conscious creator of your life. And anytime you recognize something that's off its mark, what I'm sharing with you tonight is literally the skill sets to be able to recognize that and then to be able to shift into what you're choosing to experience. Okay? So here's something very important for you. And this is really the first time I ever had this experience was pretty nuts. So I'll share it with you. So I was in the middle of the Cancun jungle 2 New Years ago. And we were literally doing a bunch of work with our coaches on consciousness work and processes and things like that. I'll get to that one in a little while, Sarah. So we were in the middle of a jungle doing a bunch of consciousness work, doing a bunch of upgrade work, okay? And one of the processes that we did, what's up, Mom? One of the processes that we did was very interesting. What's up, John Agnelli? One of the processes was very interesting, okay? So here's what we did. We had a piece of paper like this with a line down the middle of it. And we had Mom on one side and Dad on the other side. So on one category, we had dislikes about Mom and likes about Mom. Dislikes about Mom, or dislikes about Dad, and likes about Dad, okay? And our objective and our instructions were to go through there and to write everything we disliked about Dad, everything we liked about Dad, everything we disliked about Mom, and everything we liked about Mom, okay? And I thought maybe there was something wrong because when I did my part of it, I was only writing stuff down for like 10 or 15 minutes. I didn't have a whole lot of things that I was unhappy about from my experience. Although some of my friends and my teammates, that was a little bit different. Some of my friends and teammates literally took 30 to 45 minutes to an hour on multiple sheets of papers, the front and backs, of writing down all kinds of stuff. Now, here's where it gets interesting and where the exercise took a little twist. So when we were done with that, my coach, Chris, goes, all right, everybody, take your paper, pick it up, hold it on your chest, and walk around and tell all your teammates about yourself. And everybody was like, what? So here's what I'm referring, here's what I'm inferring to. If you caught it in someone else, a behavior, something that triggers you, something you don't like, you also have that within you, and that's why you recognize it in someone else. I will repeat that. If you caught it, you got it on some level. Everything that happens in our external experience is a holographic resemblance of what's functioning internally. So when you notice that you're triggered by someone, immediately go internally and ask yourself, oh wow, I wonder what this means for me. What do I get to shift? What do I get to change? Now there's 4 basic positions, or I say characters, maybe a better word for you to relate, that we can be in life. We can be a victim, and I did a video on this morning. You can go back and check it on Facebook. We can be a victim, we can be a villain, we can be a hero, or we can be a creator. Now, at any point in time, we can automatically ebb and flow through every one of those positions. If you are in the position of, woe is me and life happens to me, you're being a victim. If you take full responsibility for everything that has happened and will happen in your life, you are being a conscious creator. If you are Johnny on the spot to hurry up and help someone out of a pinch that got themselves there, you're a hero. I go through all of these. Being able to recognize it and shift it is really the key. Okay? So, victim, villain. The villain, anytime you're a hero and the person that you're saving is not happy with you at that point, whatever happens, well, now you're the villain. So there's a couple of different dynamics that happen in relationships, and one of the things to consider is this. If 2 people show up as half of themselves, meaning as a victim, broken, torn, whatever, 2 halves do not equal a whole. That's an entanglement. That's not a relationship. That's not a person showing up, being their God self and being their highest conscious, superconscious self. That's an entanglement. That means that whatever this person does, it also affects me, which means I have a codependent relationship with my partner. Honestly, 98% of the planet has a codependent relationship on some level. Okay? Now, here I'm going to give you some examples of some things that you can probably more than likely be very mindful and also very in tune and aware that you may be doing this or you may not be doing this. So I'm going to give you an example, okay? Have you ever had the saying or said something like, you know what, well, when you do that, you make me angry? Maybe you're talking to your dad, maybe I talked about your mom, maybe you're talking about your partner, whatever. And you say to them, when you do that, you make me angry. Well, automatically, that statement may sound very normal because it was very normal for me for a long time. Very normal from the sense that when you say that and you say it in that terminology with those specific language words, as in you, when you do this, you make me feel, we're totally being the victim. If you're being the victim, that means that life happens to you versus through you and by you. Now, anytime you want to change your languaging and how to shift it and how to adjust it, here's how you do it. Instead of starting the phrase or the statement with a you, you start it with an I. For example, I notice that I feel anger when you do that. Now, let me ask you a question. How did you feel when I said, well, when you do that, you make me angry? Versus, I notice that I feel anger when you do that. Which one of those do you feel better aligned with? Less projective, meaning I'm not projecting my experience onto you like you created it. I'm taking full responsibility for what I feel and expressing that in a non-judgmental, non-confrontational way. Now, I can tell you that learning that specific tactic alone has dramatically helped me be able to communicate my feelings when it gets time to have an emotional conversation that could potentially be a bit, what's the word I'm looking for? Intense, maybe? How's that? That specific thing of me saying, oh, wow, I notice I feel sad or I feel anger when you do that. That allows me to completely clean up my relationship, and it allows me to take full responsibility for me and my communication of my feelings, which is ultimately my response, without helping my partner or the person I'm having communication with to feel convicted or confrontational or projected as if I'm putting something on them that is not theirs. If that makes sense for you, just type a yes in the box. And kind of going back to this, if you caught it, you got it. That's the absolute truth. Meaning, if you pick it up in someone else, then it's totally going to be operating within you, which is, it's great because you can absolutely change it. And if you don't know what's going on, what's up, Brent, Tammy, Vicky Webb, if you don't know what's going on, then you can't change it. What's up, Crystal? The most important thing to do is to be fully authentic with yourself and to be able to recognize where you're at and where you're functioning at and what you actually feel. Because most people that I've come to connected with is that most people don't understand what they feel. So when I talk to them, I say, hey, well, what do you feel? What emotion do you feel? They're like, man, I don't know. And I was like, well, who would know if you don't? Right? So one of the beautiful things that you've all heard me talk about is body language. Like, body language is absolutely, it's freaking phenomenal. Because with body language, I can identify exactly where I'm at. Once I can identify exactly where I'm at, well, then I can implement a tactic to change that, to change it into what I'm desiring to experience. So if I feel anger, which is my back and my neck, well, that turns into my forgiveness of my partner, of my mom, of my dad. Got it. If you are triggered by, or if you are feeling tightness in your chest and your throat, that's sadness. Well, sadness turns into my joy. That's good to know. If I'm tight in my stomach, that's fear. Fear turns into my courage and my faith. So understanding that, just that simple skill set of those three is a life changer, hands down. You could leave the call now, and if you implemented that information right there, your life will transform today, consistently, as you implement the technique at the right time and the right place. That's how fast and how potent that thing is. Okay? Any questions on that so far? Check, check, check. Questions? Questions? No? All right. So let's move into the second part that I have here. And I think this is really important because a lot of people don't really understand this. It's absolutely imperative for you to be successful in your own personal relationship, because if really the only place, if you're really desiring to effectively have amazing relationships, that's going to be because of what you give yourself first. Whatever you give yourself, now you can give it to someone else. But you are a direct reflection and holographic image of what you're creating in your relationships. So if you're noticing that your relationships and things that are off with other people, immediately go internally and figure out, okay, I wonder what I did to create this. And what does it turn into? Because most people just don't understand. They're disconnected. Most people are not home. I'm talking about walking around in a human body, or just are not home. So there's a lot of things that we get to do in the form of waking up to what's available to us and for us. And as you tune into the skill sets that I'm sharing with you, and you implement body language, and you understand language code, and you pay attention to how you feel when you say things, and you pay attention to how you feel when you're connecting with people, your life is going to change. It has to. There's no way, because the person you are becoming no longer agrees with the way that we used to show up. And here's the important thing to remember. As you start to grow and as you start to change, don't expect the people that used to be around you all the time to stay around. They're either A, going to grow with you, or they're going to grow apart. And understand that life's all about seasons. People come, people go. Seasons. Understand and give yourself permission to enjoy the season. And when it's time for a person to leave your life, it's a season. It's supposed to happen. The only thing that's consistent in life is change. So my invitation to you is to give yourself permission to be comfortable being uncomfortable, because the only thing you can consistently count on is changing. That's right, Crystal. So here we go. One of the most important key components that I found of working with husbands and wives and just people in relationships and just really doing a peak performance level coaching with people is this. It's very important to give yourself permission to forgive. Give yourself permission to forgive yourself. Give yourself permission to forgive your mom and your dad. Give yourself permission to forgive your former partner. Give yourself permission to forgive whomever you get to forgive, for your own health and well-being. For those of us that have unforgiveness towards others, you are being released to the tormentors, scripturally speaking, not religion, scripturally speaking, which means that you are not going to have peace, you're not going to sleep well, you're going to have things that are going on, internal battle that could easily be resolved by you giving yourself permission to forgive yourself and whomever shows up. Like, you literally could ask yourself, who have I not forgiven, or who do I have unforgiveness towards? I give myself permission to know. Bam. What happens is you're now empowering your subconscious and conscious mind with language code that now impels or compels the answer. As Artemis would say, the call compels the answer. All right. Now, let's talk about this. Many people, what's up, Amanda? I hear this, that they say, well, you know what? I would love to have a person who's confident, who takes care of themselves, who loves themselves, who has high self-worth, who's an amazing people person, who loves families. And I say, okay. How many of those qualities that you just said do you exhibit and enact and embody on a daily basis? and they kind of get this glazed over their eye look. And here's what I say by that, right? Here's what I mean. In order for you to have whatever type of partnership, relationship, whatever it is that you are choosing to have, you and I must become that first before it will ever show up in your outer experience. Let's go through that again, because I'm pulling the chicken before the egg right now. Okay? So if you're really, let's just use relationships for a case, because that's what we're talking about. So if you have a relationship where you're like, man, I really would love a partner, I'd really love a soulmate, I would really love a person to come into my life that exhibits kindness, patience, takes care of themselves, has high self-worth, values other people, values self-development, values being their best, is a spiritual person, is connected, is conscious. If any of those, and whatever ones you add to that, if you do not have any of those, don't wish for someone else to have it to come into your life, because it doesn't work like that. Like attracts like. So as you give yourself those gifts first, and only first, then you will start to experience more people that will validate what internal changes you're making externally through your experiences, through the people, the places, the circumstances, and the situations and events in your life will start to validate your inner reflection. Because that's all it is. If you look around your life right now at the people, the places, the circumstances, situations, and events that are going on and showing up in your life, that's all a reflection of what's going on internally. Now, here's the beauty of that. The beauty of that is this. Like, literally, right now, you can make a change. You can make a new choice to experience something different once you figure out that that's not what you want. What most people don't agree with and don't really like and understand is that knowing what you don't want is a huge benefit, because knowing what you don't want allows you to focus on what you do desire to have. Contrast is key. Without contrast, you have no idea what's available, what the bottom of the spectrum is, what the top of the spectrum is. And when you understand those two ends of the equation, it allows you to create different experiences by changing your thoughts, by changing the people that you're aligning with, by learning different personal development skills. By becoming the person that you desire to be, you attract the person that you desire to have in your life. It doesn't happen any other way. Okay? All right. Any questions so far on any of that? We're about wrapped up. I got a couple little things I'm going to throw in there, but if there's any questions, I'll take them and fill them now. I'll go back and look at, I forgot, I choose to remember who said something. Let me look at our questions real quick. Actually, that's not on there. So, questions. I'm looking back at... Sarah Rook, what do if you're an introvert and you're not really social? What do you do for what? For relationships? I'm sure there's people out there who are exact the same as you are. I'm an introvert. Believe it or not, I'm not very social. I do social media because this is what I do to connect and share my message to support you. But for the most part, I'm a very introverted person. I go to the movies by myself a lot of the times. It's completely okay. You get to find what works for you. So if there's any questions, you can shoot them up there right now. And if not, here's what I have for you. I am inviting you, if you are ready to take your journey to the next level, I'm opening up my next 6-week challenge. And this is my third one now. And as my evolution is changing, I'm not just doing just nutrition. It's a full-on 6-week experience with me and all the things that I share and do in a small group setting of no more than 10 people. If you are open-minded and you are committed to your results and you are ready to have an experience with me in a small group setting, which is a fraction of the cost, and allow me to support you with the things that I'm blessed to do, then I'm inviting you to join me and to fill out my application to see if or how I can support you and see if you're a good fit. I'm opening up the doors right now. It's open enrollment. It is application only. I get to pick and choose because I am picky and choosy with who I like to work with, because not everyone is cut out for what I do, and nor am I cut out for everyone, and that's okay. If you are serious about that and would love to take me up on that, message me after this. I'll give you my application. You can fill it out. And here's where I have a gift for you. For those of you know that have been following me for a little while, we created our own product line. And I'm actually giving out 15 of these for $5. If you have Amazon Prime, you will get them for free. Here's the deal. Shipping's free. Not your product. You still got to pay $5 for your product, but shipping's free. Here's what I'm looking for. I really require your support in getting some reviews on our products so we can blast off and create more awareness and quality products in the marketplace, and I would love your support. So if you feel called and resonate with what I'm sharing with you, message me. I'll hook you up with a code to where you can actually get a bottle of magnesium citrate for $5. And here's the deal. Most people do not understand this. Magnesium is used in over 300 different chemical processes in our body. It's what's responsible for our nerve function, for our brain function, for bowel movements, for better sleep, for easing your nervous system, which is extremely important, for brain function and for heart function. So if you are serious about that and you would like to take me up on that, shoot me a message. I'll send you a link and you can take me up on that. And I appreciate you. If you're ready to take your health and wellness to the next level and you want to join me on my 6-week class, it's a 1-hour class a week in a group setting on Google Hangouts. It's completely digital. You can be in Australia, because some of my clients are, and we can connect. Typically it'll be at 8 o'clock during the week, which we'll find out a date, but we'll go through and literally do all your goals, do all your nutrition, answer all your issues, and basically allow me to coach you for 6 weeks. If that sounds like something you're serious and committed in, then obviously message me and I'll hook you up with my application. That's all I have right now. Hopefully you got some good value out of it. My encouragement to you is this. Go back and rewind this training and watch it 5 or 10 times to squeeze the juice out of it, because if you just walk away with 3 tactics, body language pieces, A, B, changing you make me feel to I notice I feel, watch what happens in your life. Your relationships are going to change, you are going to change, and the outcomes and the experiences that you are looking to create are well on their way and already coming to you, because before you have asked, I have called. So, have an amazing night. That's all I got. Remember, if you don't make time for your wellness, you will make time for your illness. Bye-bye.